We always grind the concrete, and it's not really that interesting to watch, but this is a quick clip of what it looks like. And once we finish grinding the concrete, we're going to get the garage completely clean, and we're ready to move forward with our epoxy system. What do you think of that color?
I love it.
This is our first time doing a purple garage floor, and I have to admit that I was a little skeptical at first. I wasn't sure about the idea of a purple garage, but it actually turns out really cool. So if you hang around to the end of this video, I would love to hear what you think. So this one's going to be a little bit different than normal. I'm not going to talk as much about the process and the materials and things like that. I'm just going to kind of sit back and let you hear and see a lot of this process, so you can kind of get a feel for what it's like to actually be on a job site while we're doing a project like this. I think I'm also going to answer a few questions from a TikTok video I posted the other day. For some reason, this little short video that I posted got 15 million views. I don't understand it, but there were just a ton of comments and a ton of questions. So I'm going to put a few questions up on the screen as we go through this process, and I'll either answer the question or you'll see the answer in the video. Yeah, go ahead, Nick. The timing on these jobs is always really important. Once Troy finished getting the material squeegee on the floor, he always goes and mixes the next batch while I try to catch up with him with the rolling. And then once he's gotten the next batch mixed, then at that point I should have the rolling done and I'll be able to start broadcasting the flakes. No, you don't have to use flakes. That's just something that we like. I mean, I think it looks a lot better with the vinyl flakes. The solid color looks nice, but I personally think it's too slippery for a garage floor to have a solid floor like that. And you can always add grit to a solid color floor, but I don't really like the way grit looks. So for me personally, I always prefer a flake floor in a garage. I'm rolling this a little bit longer than normal. When we did this, it was pretty cold outside, so we're not in a big hurry like we are during the summer. So I'm just taking my time and rolling this one extra time just to make sure that the epoxy is perfectly smooth before we start throwing flakes.
You can get your wet line in there. And these go all the way.
Yeah, this customer in particular, she didn't like any of our stock chip blends. She actually really just likes purple, so we made her a custom purple color, and that's what we're doing today. I got so many comments that were just like this. This is just a couple of them. So to answer the question though, the reason we use so many chips is to avoid the floor looking splotchy. Because if you try to do a partial broadcast, you can never really get it covered evenly across the whole floor. So I just think that by doing a full broadcast, you eliminate any error that you might have in the application of the vinyl flakes. And I'll show you more about that in a minute. So even when we do a full broadcast like this, you still get these spots in the floor that start to look a little shiny. And if we didn't throw more flakes on top of those spots, then it might look a little uneven in those areas. So I just feel like doing the full broadcast like this and then checking for shiny spots and then broadcasting more chips in those shiny spots, it really eliminates any possibility that the floor is going to look splotchy. We scrape the floor for two reasons. One is to get all the chips in a pile so we can put them back in the boxes and then reuse them on another project. And we're also scraping the floor to break off any chips that might be sticking up. When we put our clear coat on, we want the floor to have some texture, but we don't want any chips standing up on end that would create sharp spots in the floor. So we're just scraping the floor to get it a little bit smoother so that our finished product will have a little bit of texture without being too rough. No, we do occasionally fill these lines before we apply an epoxy system, but I don't really like to do that. I like the way they look with the lines in the floor, and then in addition to that, these are control joints, and they're there to allow the concrete to crack and move at those joints. So if you fill them with an epoxy, there's always a chance that you could get a hairline crack on top of these lines in the finished product, and I definitely don't like the way that looks. So I always just recommend to people to leave them in the finished floor.
Why is this at least?
Most manufacturers will usually sell some sort of in-person training. You get to travel to their facility and learn on a slab of concrete with a bunch of other contractors. But last year, I made an online course where you can learn this entire system from home. I show you exactly what we do and exactly what materials we use every step of the way. So if you want more info about this, I will leave a link in the first line of the description down below. Well, Virginia has really mild winters, and it holds up really well where we are. But my friend Blake from Epoxy at Minnesota posted a few photos of his garage after a winter of not cleaning it. You can see where his truck tracked chemicals in the garage all winter, and after he cleaned it up this spring, it still looked really nice. So to answer the question, it seems like it holds up really well.
Too much? That's the question.
You need a little bit more of this line?
Yeah. I think that'll thicken it up.
Yeah. My customers ask me this all the time, so I'll just answer it here the same way that I would to them. Under normal conditions, most people will not consider this floor to be slippery. I think the texture of the floor provides a good balance of traction without being so textured that it's hard to clean. But with all that being said, if the floor is wet and little kids are running full speed across it, it will probably be slippery to them. So if that's still a concern, We do have a few ways that we can add more traction to the top coat. You just have to keep in mind that it might make the floor harder to clean. If you want to learn the difference between professional epoxy and DIY kits, you can click this video right here. Or if you want to learn more about epoxy or polyaspartic or polyurea coatings, then you can click this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.